Welcome back to the Inner Alchemist TV. In today's video, I want to take a look into Melody Cherie Rogers. I know I did the reading on the girls trip, and then I seen that she was still making headlines. At first I was going to do her and Stormy, but something kept telling me to just harness in and focus on Melody's energy by herself. And then I also saw in some headlines that she was talking about calling out puppet masters, and I was trying to figure out, well, who is the puppet master? What's going on? Heads is getting cut off. I got curious and I decided to pull some cards, and I'm shocked. I'm shocked, to say the least. I really am. Let's go ahead and get the video liked or disliked. It's up to you. I don't mind you guys sounding off in the comments. Have your opinions. Disrespect, I'm gonna have to cut you guys off with that. Calling me hoes, bitches, things like that. That's the last video for that. I'm not thirsty to have anybody here. You know what I mean? So I don't like to block or anything like that. But if the trolling is too much, then I'm gonna have to block you. Because I'm not going to reciprocate the energy. I'm not going to match your energy, because that will require me to come down to your level. Not going to do that. You call me out my name, you're getting blocked. Other than that, have you guys' free say. Definitely buck back. Definitely defend your girl or not. It's up to you. You know what I mean? But again, focus on being objective and attack the message, attack the cards, but don't fuck with me, okay? Because I really don't get down like that. Yeah, so like I said, like the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and that you have the notification bells on. So my intention for this reading going in, honestly, was to figure out who's the puppet master. Like, what are we talking about? Because I did see in that girls trip that Melody was subtly instigating something, but through this spread I'm seeing that she was doing that as a strategy to try to pull out who was against her, because it was definitely some stuff going on between her back. So her plan, or her mastermind, or this argument that broke out, I think it had to do with her wanting people to reveal themselves in some type of way. Yeah, because I'm showing her as strategizing and thinking about something right now, and it definitely has to do with hitting somebody's pockets or coming back from something. So we're gonna go through the spread now. I'm gonna tell you right off top, I feel like Melody was ambushed. I feel like she was ambushed. My instinct is telling me that maybe Martell was on that trip, because I have his devil card here. I also have the Emperor, which is, to me, the Carlos card when it refers to the business and the organization, because it represents the person that's in control, but it's in reverse. And I also have the King of Wands in here in reverse. That's an ex-husband. I have the Two of Cups in reverse. That's a relationship clarified by the Four of Wands in reverse. That's a marriage that's over. So this reading is coming in talking about, it's coming in as the Two of Cups in reverse, the Four of Wands in reverse. This is the divorced couple, and the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords means that there was an attack. Off top, I feel like Melody was ambushed. I feel like something happened that she wasn't necessarily prepared for. I don't know how this went down or what exactly happened, but it looks like an ambush. I don't know if somebody said something to her that was like degrading, but it seems like there was like a lot of chaos going on. You know what I mean? And something went on that was kind of meant to dishonor her or disgrace her, or catch her off guard in some type of way. Now, the reason why I said that, I feel like this had to do with Martell in some type of way. If he wasn't there, it could be that the conversation being had to do with him, or something of a betrayal nature was revealed about him. The reason why I said that he could have been there is because the Two of Cups and the Four of Wands shows me heavily that whatever this ambush or whatever it is that took place had to do with the old marriage. Period. Point blank. The Devil card is here in reverse as an influence that you can't see, as something that's moving behind the scenes, but that's heavily weighing on the situation, right? This is somebody that feels like they got somebody in some type of weak or vulnerable position, and then sprung something on somebody. You know what I mean? Like it's like a person who came to try to finish a job, or like I said, to try to play on a person's weakness or something like that. Definitely trouble. definitely something complicating having happened. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is something that Melody could have been blind to, because this is something that's going on behind the scenes that she would not have known anything about. Now, the reason why I said that may have had to do with Carlos is because there's the way that these cards are interacting with each other. Carlos came in as the Emperor in reverse. The Emperor reverse is a coward. You know what I mean? Someone that is really unmanly. And they betray your trust. You know what I mean? They betray your trust. They don't protect you. And they don't stand up for morals and principles and do the right thing. So I don't know if Carlos arranged for him to be there, if he was there, or somebody gave him information about this trip and he was there, or he served as somebody's guest and he was there, or like I said, some type of conversation was generated around him and something happened. But Carlos is showing as having failed in leading this situation. And so when I think about who are the puppet masters that she could be referring to, something in my head is saying, is she referring to both Carlos and Martel having arranged some type of like ambush to show this thing as mentally playing out in some type of negative way? Now, does this have something to do with Stormy? Possibly, for the simple fact that when I was doing the spread yesterday, Stormy had the 5 of Swords in her row, or in her spread, and her 5 of Swords was also present. The 5 of Swords was present in Stormy's thing yesterday, and it's also present in Melody's thing today. Right? The 5 of Swords is about a battle, but it's also about something that's very cold-hearted, sadistic, and cruel that happened, and it's like a mind game or something like that. It's like people like acting distance towards you because they know that they have something on their sleeves. This is arguments happening. This is somebody that's like starting something but also pretending like they don't want to fight or they don't want to do the battle. But somebody felt like they were beaten by Melody at some point, and I feel like this is like setting up some type of revenge. But the 5 of Swords is a scavenger who looks for weakness or looks to put people in like vulnerable positions. So I don't know if maybe Melody was caught off guard by finding out that Martel was in the vicinity or maybe on the trip, and her defenses weren't as high as they could. Either way it goes, she's coming in as a Queen of Swords. She handled the situation well. If this is not her, then this is another woman who also played a part in this by like so-called turning a blind eye and pretending like they didn't know what was going on, but they were actually part of the plan as well. You know what I mean? Something like that. It was like a situation where there was no winning. Like you had to act on the fly. You had to do something quick to protect yourself because you was like being swarmed in on all sides. You know what I mean? Definitely. Whatever this was, there was a battle. They may win the battle, but they're definitely not going to win the war. The thing of it, I feel like the whole idea or the whole situation that went down was like a humiliation. It was meant to humiliate her in some type of way. And again, I remember when I did a spread on her and Martel a little while back, it was saying how she was trying to lay low and not fall for any traps as it pertained to him and Ariane because she had this court situation going on. You know what I mean? But I feel like maybe Carlos conspired with Martel to catch her off guard in some type of situation, and maybe like, I don't know if emotions ran high or something like that. Could be something like that. Whatever the situation was, it was meant to bring her a lot of shame, or at least she's feeling a lot of shame right now. Humiliation. A lot of destruction was going on. You know what I mean? And I feel like when she says things like, I'm coming for the puppet master, not the puppets, I think that she's having a sense of being set up, or this having been put together for a reason, and her seeing other people in the scenario, not necessarily in a compassionate way, but through a compassionate perspective, and saying, you don't know that you ain't nothing but a pawn in this chess game. Like, it's almost like she's been around enough to know that even though these people think they're important, they think it's about them, they're just being used. And she seems to be the target. But again, with this Emperor in reverse, she's a target by somebody who's betraying her and failing as a leader. You know what I mean? But the thing about this Emperor is that he gets humbled out of nowhere whatever is going to happen next, I feel like Carlos either is going to be humbled or he was already humbled. You know what I mean? Melody has to establish some strict and secure boundaries around her when it pertains to Carlos and their relationship. I showed that they were good. I showed that they were working together. A few spreads back, he is not a friend. He is not a friend. There's some type of tension there, and I just can't figure out what it is. But I think it'll come out in this spread as I kind of like, go through it a little bit. Definitely trying to undermine her confidence. Definitely trying to put her in situations where, like I said, she has to act on the fly and can't necessarily control the storyline, if you will. Not that that's necessarily what she's trying to do, but definitely want to control her image, or definitely want to, watch things that are meant to destroy her. But again, I feel like she was told something wasn't going to happen, and then it turned around and did happen. You know what I mean? Definitely. It was a very immature move, and it was something meant to confuse her, I believe, and knock her off her spread. That's why we have this Queen of Swords here and this Three of Swords in reverse. I feel like whatever it is, if this represents Melody's energy because it's crowning her, I feel like she acted intelligently. If it's another woman, a Gemini, a Libra, or Aquarius, this is somebody who played a part in the situation but turned their back to it or stayed out of dodge to act like they didn't have anything to do with it or didn't know anything about it, but they did. But they weren't coming forth with the information or weren't helping in the situation when that's something that they could have did to help somebody or to help protect somebody. But for the most part, it looks like she was like left in some type of position where she was just simply like unprotected, period, in a way that was kind of like gross, in a way that was inhumane, but it was meant to bring on some type of humiliation and degradation in some way. Now, did she get it? Did she get out of this? I'm not sure how it's going to come out in the wash. But right now, I do show that she's strategizing with the Seven of Swords and the Seven of Cups. She's trying to figure out her options. Most definitely, she's trying to figure out how to go about resolving this situation or whatever. There's definitely her thinking about what the hell just happened. You know what I mean? I feel like she maneuvered through it just well, though, because the Three of Swords, it's kind of like about maneuvering, and it's kind of like averting, it's averting things that are really just on the way to just going all the way bad. You know what I mean? So there's possible that she could have recouped something that happened, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't know if something came up where she was clearing the air, or the air needs to be cleared now. She's definitely in a position of wanting to accuse people or wanting to figure out what was going on. The only resolution in this situation is kind of to like take responsibility for her own part and let the chips fall where they may. I'm showing she definitely is feeling some inner pain. She might be in denial about the sorrow or even jealousy that could have been inspired by whatever this situation was. You know what I mean? But I feel like she is not acknowledging it, how deeply bad people are like stabbing her in the chest. She's like made a pact to herself to never cry about this shit or never give people that satisfaction. But it almost seems like it's too much. It was like multiple people moving in this situation. You know what I mean? Like whatever they was doing, they was like upping the ante and escalating the shit. You know what I mean? A lot of chaos. Something very heartbreaking went down on that trip. Period. Definitely. I also feel like Melody needs to be protected. I'm not going to say that. I don't like to say that people do. I don't like to say a lot of times that people are doing black magic on somebody, but it's somebody else. It's a woman. It's a woman somewhere in the background that's like, it's a woman somewhere in the background that's doing work on Melody. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say that because I don't like to give people a sense of paranoia or a sense of helplessness about anything, but it is showing in the spread. And I feel like it's like chaos magic. It is something that was created to send chaos. You know what I mean? And I feel like maybe this played out through this trip. I'm getting a heavy sense that there was some type of ambush or something, or some situation that she didn't know was going on or expect was going on, or she felt like she had all the characters together as far as like how things were playing out, and then it was like a loop thrown at her or something like that. It has to do with the marriage. It has to do with the relationship. It has to do with her ex-husband. I'm almost confident about that. Whether he was there or not, I'm confident about that. It having revolved around him. I don't even know if he was pulling some of these girl strings, you know what I mean, and how they responded to her or acted with her, or something with that trip, or what they were saying to her, or maybe some secret was surfaced, or something was mentioned at the table that shouldn't have been, or somebody threw something out there like a faulty ass narrative, and it was something that couldn't be taken back. So maybe with this Seven of Swords and the Seven of Cups, maybe she's trying to figure out how to take that back without them necessarily having to change the entire scene, but to take that conversation off the table. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it looks like maybe Carlos and Martell or something, maybe they were aware that this was going to come out, or that this was going to be said. They wanted it said to create this moment, but then acted like it was spontaneous, maybe through one of the women. Could be Letitia's the Queen of Swords. She was the Queen of Swords yesterday. You know what I mean? This is definitely somebody that tried to trick somebody, and like I said, into some type of like fucked up ass position with this Five of Swords. This is like mind games, manipulation, gaslighting. This is like some shady ass shit that was going on. It's evil. You know what I mean? Very cruel, malicious. But I feel like it's somebody who also has a smoke in the wrong place. It seems like people are maybe blaming Melody for shit that she doesn't have anything to do with. And it feels like she's getting a lot of maybe the brunt of the negative behavior for what's going on in some of these people's like personal lives. Oh, is that maybe why? Maybe that's why they're throwing the millimeters under the bus, because some of them are actually like having like losses. The Five of Pentacles is here. Maybe some of them really genuinely feel that Melody or her fan base or her storyline or her victimization, whatever they call it, has hurt them financially. I think that they might really, really, truly believe that. But again, I think that comes with that self-deception piece that's here, because it's like you ain't telling yourself the truth, which is that it could be, you know, your fault that you're going through this. You know what I mean? If it is Letitia, she's behaving very coldly because her emotions is cut off to the situation. She don't have no compassion, no feelings about it. But again, I feel like that's because that they are like blaming her or for some type of loss that they're taking financially, or not being able to achieve success, instead of looking at their own situation. It could be like that. But it definitely looks like multiple moving pieces against her. I'm not even one to come up here and stack the deck, speak. I'm not a millimeter by any means. I call it how I see it. But when I saw this spread, I was like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't know what Stormy's role in this situation is. I don't even know if she was the person, but I feel like something was put on the table. Some type of malicious gossip or lie was put on the table that was meant to be degrading and humiliating, and it caught her off guard. And I feel like maybe she could have reacted in some type of way. You know what I mean? Or it could have started as her, because I did see yesterday that there was some type of altercation between Letitia and Stormy where words were exchanged. And I felt like that situation was maybe instigated by Melody a little bit. Maybe Melody was instigating that, and then the tables turned on her and it became about her. It can be like something like that. If it's not that, then Martell was on this trip. You can't tell me nothing. But either way it goes, it is showing the ex-husband, King of Wands in reverse, Emperor in reverse, the Devil card, Martell card, Two of Cups, Four of Wands in reverse. This is an ex-husband, period, point blank. This Emperor represents Carlos in this organization, period. The truth is going to come out, though. The Ace of Swords is here in the near future. In the next 3 to 6 months, the truth is going to come out. Facts. It's going to be revealed to everybody. And it's going to be very clear. All this oppression, betrayal, treachery, false, fraudulent, all that shit is coming out. All the injustices, how cruel these people are, how they just want success, how they're willing to do anything at any cost. It's about to come out. Ace of Swords and the Ten of Wands, it's about to come out. And I feel because it's too much of a feeling of being trapped and pressured. You know what I mean? Something's about, the levee's about to break. Like, this shit is about to hit the fan. For real, for real. I'm telling you, in the next 3 to 6 months, the whole truth is going to come out. The whole truth is going to come out. Who the villain is, who the victims are, who playing, who lying, who plotting, who's setting people up. Who's supposed to be production but getting their hands dirty and backstabbing people. All that shit is coming out. Somebody's definitely wearing a disguise. It's about to get masked off. It's masked off. I feel like there might be a lawsuit. Something's going down, you guys. For real, for real. Now, like I said, Melly's coming in as a Seven of Swords. This card is usually, when you think about tarot, you look at the Seven of Swords like, oh, this is somebody cheating, lying, being deceiving, all of that. But for the most part in this spread, the way this is working together, this Seven of Swords is about somebody that's being forced to strategize. And yeah, they have to do that in a sneaky way, especially with this Seven of Cups here. They definitely cannot afford to trust hardly anybody. I don't even know if like her information or something was given. I feel like somebody gave somebody some information. That information was either Carlos or Martel. I don't know if one of the ladies threw it on the table in order to humiliate her. It came out on this trip. I'm telling y'all. And I feel like it was in the middle of an altercation that was going on between Letitia and Stormy. And then this was thrown in there out of nowhere. I strongly feel that. Now we got this Seven of Swords here. I feel like honestly, I feel like Melanie might still have the upper hand, but I don't feel like she was ready for that one. You know, I don't. I feel like she's very annoyed. I feel like she still wants to argue about this shit or have a conversation or get her lick back. I feel like she still wants to go, and she got to keep her eye on the prize because she does have a court situation coming up. But I feel like she's having to exercise a godly amount of restraint right now. You know what I mean? And I don't know if this is some type of test in the middle of her journey or what. I don't know if she has to work on revenge. The devil is here in reverse. Even though it's a Martel card for me, when I do the tarot spread, it's still energy. And there's an energy of negativity all over this reading. There's an energy of revenge. There's an energy of people doing shit foul and doing shit the wrong way. It's all over the spread. There's something about these kids here too. In the hopes and fears section, we have the kids and we have abandonment or losing the kids. I feel like a lot, man, this is like crazy because I'm getting this vibe of like, I don't know. I feel like somebody is fearing losing custody or losing the upper hand and custody with the kids. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a fear, but with the Eight of Cups in reverse, this is somewhat of a celebration. And then I have the Ace of Cups in reverse and the outcome. And so with this Six of Cups, which is reminding me of the kids or the children, I would say there's nothing to worry about. I don't know if you'll get exactly what you want, but these two cards, I don't know, with celebration and the Ace of Cups, you might get close to what you want out the situation for sure. You definitely might get what you want out of the situation. But I feel like she has like a certain amount of pressure on her from making the wrong moves, or like I said, being took out of her character. in like a spontaneous way, because she has a lot weighing on the happiness of her kids, or like I said, even being in control of that situation. Six of Cups, Eight of Cups in reverse. This definitely has something to do with the kids and the family life, and with it coming up in the hopes and fears status area of the spread. I feel like she may fear not having full custody or the custody arrangement that she wants. However, this Eight of Cups in reverse is saying that you will be perfectly satisfied by whatever the outcome is, and that you will come out in the end. That's just what it's saying. You know what I mean? Or that may be what you hope. Like I said, it's in the hopes and fears, but you do have the Ace of Cups here in the outcome, and the Ace of Cups is also about something being, content, being, having what you want. You know what I mean? So, or at least being in a position to get what you want. I don't see anything like hindering that right now. I don't see her as being in a more disadvantaged position at all, despite the fact that some bullshit is going on. You know what I mean? We have the Two of Wands here. To me, this just shows more, I don't even want to say planning, but it's looking like some type of like decision, or some type of like, not crossroad, but this is coming from her external environment. It makes me feel like somebody was like watching the plan play out for some reason, but I don't know, because the Four of Cups is in reverse here, and that's like you being kind of disappointed. So I don't know, whatever they tried to pull off, I don't feel like it worked necessarily. My palms are itching. What do palms itching mean? Do that mean money? My ears been burning. My ears been burning for about a month straight. So I know people been talking about me or talking about something, but now my palms is itching. So I'm like, wait a minute, did y'all send me all that energy and now I'm about to get some money? Because when you talk about people and you send them your energy for good or bad, if you an alchemist, I'm gonna turn that shit into a coin. But anyways, I just said that because my palms is itching. Child, this is crazy. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with this, I feel like somebody was like surprised by how this shit, whoever set this shit up or has something to do with this, they were surprised by how that shit really played out. For sure. You know what I mean? I feel like they didn't know what to anticipate. I'm getting Carlos energy like that. That's in the external environment, but it is adjacent or across from the Emperor inverse. And I feel like Carlos got a surprise. I feel like he may have wanted to make good TV, but I don't know. He got something a little bit more than that. But I also showed that he was nervous about this whole thing playing out anyway. You know what I mean? Like there was some type of fear. There's some type of fear associated with this anticipation of watching this shit play out. You know what I mean? It's almost like a nigga was like on the edge of their seat, like trying to figure out how this was going to play out. I honestly believe she was set up, you guys. I really do. I really do. I believe that. I believe she was set up. I really do. Now, like I said, I don't know if she was ambushed with the presence of Martell. If not, it was definitely some information, some private information that was thrown out there on national TV as some type of like something. It was meant to humiliate her. Period. Meant to confuse her. Meant to create some type of distraction so that she can make an error. You know what I mean? This Queen of Swords energy is holding it down though. So, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, there was some type of spontaneous response. Don't get me wrong. But I don't feel like she gave the people all the way what they wanted. I don't feel like she put herself in a position that they wanted her to put herself in. Because I feel like they wanted her to put herself in some type of position that was going to compromise something with her family. And that didn't happen. It didn't happen. They wanted her to like fall from grace or something. And it was multiple people involved. It was two major factors and at least maybe 5 other people. Or it was either 2 major factors and 5 people, or it was 2 major factors and 3 people. Definitely though, I feel like the puppet masters or whoever they are, it has something to do with Carlos and Martell. 100%. I have no doubt about it. Now, whether other ladies may be used to carry this out or played a part in it because they feel somehow victimized as well, like they feel, because with this Five of Pentacles, I feel like people are feeling like they're taking some financial losses or something like that, and they feel some type of way too. Maybe it was easy to get in their heads because of that. I don't know, you guys. You guys got to really let me know what you guys think in the comment section of this video, because I don't know. You know, I mean, I'm being as objective as possible, and I honestly could see this so clearly. And I don't know, I feel like there was an ambush, but you guys are getting details leaked. I don't know if you guys' content is about like speculating and guessing, or things that you really heard, or do you guys just make content out of reading into like subliminal posts or posts that people make? There never seems to be like solid receipts, so I don't know if that's because you guys can't use people's content, or I don't know, but from that perspective, you give the main characters control, because they can just send you guys any type of vibe and send you like on a rabbit hole and have you guys going down the wrong trail. You know what I mean? So I just want to encourage you guys to be a little bit more discerning. Content is content. We all got to make it. I get that, but some of the stuff, I don't know. I feel like some of the stuff you guys are like easily led astray, you know what I mean, by the games that these actors are sending you guys. They're playing games, and I feel like you guys are being sent down a wrong rabbit hole. But anyways, I'm not sure. But anyways, look, you guys, tell me what you think in the comments. I'm gonna be doing some videos today, maybe one or two, and then I'm not gonna be as active in the comment section because I have to do energy work today and tomorrow. But I will come in and check on the comments, you know, when I get some downtime in the middle of the night or something like that. But you guys continue to interact with each other. Please be respectful. Please don't disrespect nobody on my channel, and definitely don't disrespect me. Say what you gotta say, but this ain't no bloodbath. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a classy, sophisticated woman, and I feel like the fruits should fall, you know, they don't fall far from the tree. And so my audience or my viewership is a reflective of who I am, and I'm not that. I'm not raunchy, I'm not garish, I'm none of that. You know what I mean? And I don't want it in my space, so I'll be deleting the shit. All right, but it's not because I'm fearful of what you're saying. It's because you need some couth, and that's just the bottom line. Get some couth. But yeah, like the video, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Please sound off, because I don't know, I'm a little bothered by this. But all right, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.